Welcome to the CoinRock Show. It is February 3rd. The market is, well, you know how the market is. You're in crypto, so you know how the market is. The moment it drops or it pops. Anyway, how's everyone doing? Let's wait. Actually, let's not wait. I was gonna say, let's just switch these around. Let's put some energy here, some emojis, share, like, post, comment, retweet, so we push the algo here. I will be looking at the comments here. Just have a look here. Put this. All right, good. I have way too many screens around me, but at least I'm also keeping an eye on our teams. So, Kais, I can see the updates in the group. Welcome, everyone. This is Matthias. Welcome to the CoinRock Show. We have some news today. I mean, we have news every day, right? So there's a lot going on. Whether you're in one of the CoinRock groups, one of the projects, if you're just joining because you follow me on Twitter. This episode, this show today, as you can see, powered by JeetBot. What is JeetBot? We'll get into that in a few moments. I think we're gonna be here for I think we'll have some fun today on the show. We're gonna be doing these very often. I'm gonna, we mentioned 2 weeks ago that we're launching this week, actually, CoinRock Media. So I have the platform, the news website, the actual news platform where everything will be happening. So the articles, we have a full team of writers, and the site is looking very, very, very nice. There's a few people who've seen it. I know Lucas saw it recently, but it has changed. A few updates here and there. It's been it's been in the works for a few weeks now, and it will be going live. Fuck, it looks amazing. Even I'm happy. It takes a lot, it's like I talk about this in the groups. It's when you build something, it's often it's hard to be like, at least for me, I'm so self-critical, or should I say I'm such a perfectionist, that it's difficult to, not difficult, but I've had to almost come to terms with the fact that perfection doesn't exist, and that yes, you can always fix things. But I tell my teams, having been an entrepreneur for 20 years now, sometimes good enough is good enough, and sometimes for some things good enough is good enough. Otherwise, you never launch, you never start, you never share your work, your creation with the world. And sometimes it needs to be flawless, right? So some things are good enough to launch. Some things will never be good enough, even if, especially if it's your work. It's such a weird thing to explain. For those who are building companies, you know exactly what I mean. You can always improve. There's always things you can improve, but also at some point it's like, hey, we're shipping. This is it. We're very happy, and we'll talk about JeetBot because that's kind of the opposite. We wanted it to be flawless from day one. It is. It's awesome. It's a great accomplishment. Very proud of the team. So the team at JeetBot. So myself, Caius, my partner at CoinRock, Lucas, blockchain boy, that we had last week on the show, and Justin, default, we had on the show last week too. Great episodes. You should all watch those 2 episodes. They're linked on my profile here. So it's the 4 of us building JeetBot from scratch. Everything in house. That's the CoinRock sauce. We build everything in house with full control over everything we do. And it's a lot of work. We build a lot in public. So, we 3-4 months ago, there was no JeetBot. And the news is we're launching it in the next 24 to 48 hours. That is the news for JeetBot. So if you've been waiting for the update, here it is, in the next 24 to 48 hours. You can go tell the groups, you can go tell your peeps. You will be able to refer people. You will be able to make commissions passive income. Yes, I can say it, passive income with a 6-level deep affiliate referral program. And you'll be making, some people will be making thousands of dollars a month, some thousands of dollars a week. And those who really push and take it seriously, a lot more. So some will be doing thousands of dollars a day, because you're only limited by the audience or the reach or the effort that you want to do. We built what we believe to be the most generous and aggressive referral program in the industry. And so that will be launching in the next 24 to 48 hours. Will be, if you're not in the group yet, please join the group. It's already at, let's see, do we have any Jeeters here? We've had to find a name for the JeetBot community, the JeetBotters. That's a bit long. The Jeeters. It's pretty good. It's JeetBot allows you to Jeet proudly Jeet. So we are now at 810 people in the community, and the link to join the community is maybe one of the mods. Who's on here? Can you guys put the link to the verified channel? Make sure you put the verified channel, not the direct one, because we want to make sure that we don't have any stupid bots. Let's see. Official links. The Telegram group is this one here. There you go. All right. So with that being said, welcome to those who are just joining. Welcome to the CoinRock Show. We did what, 2 live streams last week. This week we have a stream, I believe, every single day. Every single day. We have a few guests this week, so that's gonna be fun. You'll see throughout the week. And we want to keep these shows fun, entertaining, updates, and of course we'll talk about CoinRock projects. The big news this week is really the JeetBot launch. So for those who've been asking in the group, when links, when referrals, in the next 24 to 48 hours, we will be dropping the info in the group. Make sure you join. It's something about affiliate marketing. So referral marketing. First of all, what is affiliate marketing? It's basically being paid to refer people to a product or a service, and you make a commission when someone either buys the product, the service, or uses, in this case, the bot. So the first movers, and this is, I want to light a fire under your chair. The first movers generally have the advantage. So the ones who are going to be moving quickly, you watching this, those who are going to be pushing, those who are going to be referring, those who are going to be spreading their links and sharing the love, the JeetBot love, the Jeet love with the world, those are the ones who will be making quicker commissions. So we'll have information. We'll be dropping the info in the JeetBot community. Let me have a look at some of the chats here. All right. And let me put this up here so I can see the comments. Let me, all right. And let's mirror the screen. And let's go to comments. Oh, comments. There you go. Very good. How's everyone feeling today? Thank you, Aragon. Just catching up on the comments here. Kraken. Yes. Welcome. Nice to hear you, Matt. Thank you. Thank you, Kraken. Kraken. Finally, we'll stop losing money. Yeah, the cool thing with the bot is, I talked about this in the group. We have a bunch of groups. So depending on which group you're in, we wanted to create, the vision was to create a bot that was better than other bots, better than the competition from day one. And it's been in beta for about 2 weeks now, just over 2 weeks. And the most recent push that we did yesterday, it is insanely fast. ProfitMaxi is amazing. A lot of other features, the rug scanner, ProfitMaxi, DCA, limit orders. You can have more wallets on the bot than many other bots on the market. So we're very, very excited because the vision, we talked about this with Caius, Lucas, and Justin initially. The vision was to make the bot better from day one, to have a better product from day one than the competition, who've been around for like months, in some case over a year. And that is mission accomplished. I'm very proud of that. And the great thing is that's just the V1. This is just like the product that you guys will be accessing, sharing, trading with. We have a ton more features that will be automating a lot of the trading. So, we have some, and these are already in the works. So a lot of automatic trading features. You'll be able to snipe, and then, for example, snipe and then take your money out, take the initials out of 2x, for example. Imagine you're sleeping, right? Go to bed, you have, the sniper snipes something, and then you wake up and it broke even. It took your initials out of 2x, and you're up 3, 4, 5x, and you still you recouped your money, plus you're in the money. So there's a lot of and then we'll have like sell at 3x, sell at 5x. This is just like one feature that we're adding in the coming days. So we're very excited, and that is just for the Telegram bot. The bot is really the how to put this, everyone can launch it. I mean, not everyone. You actually do need certain skills, but very few entities, very few trading world ecosystems have a full suite of products. So for JeetBot, the Telegram will actually that's just the starting point. After that, we're actually working on the browser extension. So we'll be having, if you want to see the full roadmap, there'll be a Discord bot. There will be a browser extension, and in the coming weeks, there will also be a full web application, which means you'll be able to trade on desktop. So, and everything will be connected. So you'll be able to use JeetBot on mobile, on Telegram, but also on desktop. For those who like to trade with bigger screens, you'll have that too. Very few trading competitors have the full suite. That's what we are building at JeetBot. So I'm very excited personally for that, because the vision is absolutely fucking huge. And we've been executing 7 days a week. I mean, that's pretty much the CoinRock sauce, right? So for those who've been with us for over a year now, I can say over a year now officially, because we started building the first project over a year. First project was Cyclics Games. 7 days a week. It's 7 days a week. JeetBot has been in development for starting 4 months now, so over 3 months. 4th month now, just started. So nonstop. We took it from literally idea, like a few we had a lot of calls and conversations with Justin and Lucas. Really, the idea was to productize Justin's vision and experience as a trader, and basically bring his brain to the market, in a suite of products under the JeetBot umbrella, because he's a real trader. At CoinRock, we've worked with over 200 KOLs over the last 12 months. When I mean worked, it means either directly paid them, had them as ambassadors. So, I know how these guys work. A lot of them are not traders, and that's fine. A lot of them are content creators. But this fine. Like, my point is, it's fine if you're a KOL content creator, but what makes me laugh is when someone LARPs as a trader, and I know, because I pay these guys, I know that they're not traders. They're literally content creators who say they're traders, but don't trade. They just make money as a basically shilling products, right? Again, nothing against that, but I think transparency in the space is needed. If you're a content creator, the thing we talked about this last week with Lucas, we could be on for hours. I could be talking here like for 12 hours nonstop. So this is like a first tangent. The thing with Justin is he's actually a trader. He sometimes is portrayed as a KOL. Yes, he's he is, he's a KOL for Cyclics, but he actually is a trader. He trades. That's how he makes money. So it's very interesting to for us to, for personally, for me to have met and had dinner, drinks with dozens of KOLs in person, and then worked, collaborated, paid, over 200 KOLs at this point, at this stage, and just seeing who's who. And so the idea really was to get Justin and his trading brain to productize. That's a word that I've used a lot over the years, coming from the Web 1 space, Web 2 space, but really like working with experts and coaches and turning their knowledge and experience and expertise into courses and communities and workshops and membership sites. So basically taking knowledge and turning it into a product. It's exactly the same thing with the bot, with JeetBot. It was basically taking Justin's expertise, time in the trenches, wins, losses, everything, right? All the knowledge that that's very difficult to teach, and building products that traders desperately need, whether you're new or a veteran trader. It's something that we build JeetBot for everyone, whether you're retail trading $50 a day, or if you're a whale, or literally an institution. So the vision of JeetBot was to bring and build institutional trading tools to retail, and that's mission accomplished. We're very proud of it. The bot that you will see in the next 24, 48 hours has gone through dozens and dozens of iterations, optimizations, you name it, just to build an amazing product from day one. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of being on calls Sunday night, 11 p.m., and working on transaction speed and backend server structure, and how do you route transactions, and how do you work on how do you present the bot so it's easy for people to join, and how do you make the UX UI look easy while being functional, adding the features but not overwhelming. So all these things. And I think you'll love it. I think it's a product that we built. It's a product we built with real hands-on expertise, in Justin being really the star trader and productizing his knowledge, his skills, and bringing products that he would have killed to have years ago, and now we're actually giving them to you inside JeetBot for you to make money. Maximizing profits. That's literally, it's not just a slogan. Literally, with ProfitMaxi, you will be making more money. It's a trading ecosystem that starts with a Telegram bot that makes you more money. It's a more profitable bot. We talked about one of the features being ProfitMaxi, about this altruistic idea, which is true, to not destroy charts when you exit large positions. One of the things, for those who don't know, is when you have a large position in an illiquid token, when you want to sell that and make money, secure profit, there's so little liquidity that sometimes those positions, when you have a whale exiting, you'll see charts drop 20, 30, 50, 60%. And you see that every single day. And so Justin came up with this concept of ProfitMaxi. And so it's one thing to understand it. And what's interesting is he's talked about it openly for a few weeks and months. And then one day I said, you have to stop telling people what ProfitMaxi is, because we need to build this. And it's so, it's such a great tool. And then the more we started building it, the more we on the building side, so the more CoinRock was building it, the more we understood that it is a fucking nightmare to build. Hundreds of edge cases, So, edge cases are situations in software that happen when, situations that you don't expect, when multiple conditions have to be met for something weird to happen. Let me just put it, in a very simple way. And so we've had to go back and tweak it and improve it. And so what you will see is beautiful. It's been tested. It's lightning fast, with the auto trading features and the literally, like, you can trade automatically through a sniper or DCA, and then you'll be able to DCA into positions, then secure profit whenever you want to, but also secure profit on a 2x or a 5x. Imagine that, right? The thing with crypto is, or traders in general, and you've all seen this, right? You know, you have to exit a position or just take 20% off the table, right? Just secure your initials. So you put like $1,000 in, you're up $3,000, $4,000, and you know that the right thing to do is just to take your $1,000 back, because you don't know if that coin is going to zero. But you stay in, and you're up 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, and you wake up one morning and you're down to $50, and you go from 8,000 to like $29, and you're like, fuck, should have taken my initials out. Well, inside JeetBot, you'll be able to secure initials at a 2x, for example. So if you put $1,000 in and you're up 2,000 at $2,000, it'll sell your 1,000, so at least you don't lose money, and then you can leave your moon bag. And if it does a 20x, at least you have you've recovered the initial investment. So a lot of things like that, dozens of other features that we'll be adding to the bot, but also to the web app. The web app will give us a lot more space, gives us just literally a lot more real estate on the screen to add amazing features. So let's have a look at some of the comments here. Actually, that was just this is just like I'm at the very top of these comments looking at Kraken. So Striker, let's see. Stupid exit, notify me. Yeah, guys, quick one here. Like, comment, share the show here, and follow me. We'll be doing so. Follow me at put notifications on, because we'll be doing these every day. And we want to bring as much value to the market as possible. We're 2025 is really the year of marketing for CoinRock and CoinRock projects. We have some updates on some of the other projects, so talk about that too. Kraken says already in the Jeeters. Matthias keeping it real. Says my bag dude. Do you need official bougie? Do you need training with JeetBot? No, I mean, there'll be training videos, sure, but no, it's very straightforward. And that's the thing when you build software, right? You have to add enough features for it to have an edge over the competition, but also it has to be easy on the onboarding side. So no, everyone can use it. I showed it to my wife. My wife literally started just playing around. It's like, okay, this is actually easy even for someone who's a non-crypto native. So, anyone can use it. There's going to be training videos, of course. It's something we'll be doing a lot for the community too. Official bougie, we would like to use it. Can someone come to our Telegram and give a tutorial? Yeah, I mean, so it'll be out in the next, like I said, 24 to 48 hours. My bag dude says, Lucas had to give up his left nut to manifest ProfitMaxi. I cannot confirm nor deny. Love a good. Matthias chat says, Striker, is it an app, website, or Telegram bot? So, hey, Mr. M, good to have you. It starts off as a Telegram bot. So in the next 24, 48 hours, we'll be launching the Telegram bot. I'll send you the link. And then after that, we'll be adding, so in the next few weeks, the Discord bot. And then after that, browser extension and the web app. It's a full trading suite. So you'll be able to trade on Telegram, but also if you want to trade on desktop, for example, that will work too. So there's a lot, that we're building. Pumped to see you here. Very cool. So I'll be sending that to you as soon as it's out. Zach, Angel, thank you for the comment here. Money bags. We have some great comments here. Thank you guys. Zach, ProfitMaxi, Ratche, Ula. A lot of comments. Yeah, so the more as soon as we release JeetBot, we'll have a lot of these lives a lot of these streams too, and let me just catch up here. So yes, the Telegram is, I put that in the comments. Very cool to see everyone. And yes, Telegram group is JeetBot Verify. So let's have a look at some of the news, market news and updates. Market has been shit, as you know. It's been down only for the last few days. A lot of talk. What's been interesting too is seeing that, like, how many big CT accounts are very bearish. It's almost surprising to see large accounts who are, they've been in crypto for years now, some of them 10 years, and they believe, and that's fine, right? Everyone, you're free to believe whatever you want, but they're openly calling for like the start of the bear market, which is strange to me, because I really don't have that view at all. I had lunch last week with a friend, and we talked about this. I said short term. I think I said this last week on one of the streams. I said short term choppy / bearish, mid to long term giga bullish. And if you've been following the headlines, and we post them every day, if you look at what's happening really on the institutional side, on the traditional finance side coming into crypto, it's pretty amazing to see the interest and the buy volume, the buy pressure from huge funds like BlackRock and many others now, who are buying in silence. Governments are buying. You've seen that too. I think that no one is bullish enough when you look at the mid to long term. And yes, I understand that, there's been, what was it, like the biggest liquidation since FTX over the last 24 hours. I think, the market has a way of humbling everyone, including big traders. And that's how the market operates. Max Payne. And, it has, especially in bull markets, for those who've been here, this is my third cycle. For some, they've been in crypto since the early 2010s, and they've seen everything. I wasn't in crypto in the early 2010s. But this is pretty common in the sense that, pullbacks are normal. If you look at the charts, this is nothing abnormal. The sentiment is insanely bearish on even from very legit traders who cashed out multiple 8 figures in the previous cycle. So in the COVID cycle, yeah, it's a weird one. I think that, looking at the timeline, so I have a few different alts, and on my alts, I follow all the traders, everyone, right? I think I follow like 2,000 people in crypto. Everyone's bear. I mean, the majority of even old school traders and crypto guys are pretty bearish, which is strange. And then you have, it's either like you're bearish and it's like, oh, memes have destroyed everything. All these token launchers are breaking the market. It's like, yeah, but that's just how it is. I mean, it's very interesting for me, coming from a professional sports background. You never complain on a tennis court, in the sense that if the opponent comes up with, if you came to the tennis match that day with a set strategy, and the player comes up and you prep to play against the player, it's PvP, right? In tennis, you know that the guy stays. Usually he likes to use his forehand, and he has a big serve, but that day he's injured and he has to change his game around. If you're not ready to adapt your game immediately, you're going to lose. It's going to be very difficult for you, right? So you have to be able to adapt quickly to what your opponent is showing you. And so in this case, I think everyone came into this, especially after the FTX crash, and Binance being, having a lot of insolvency rumors after FTX crashed. It was a brutal bear market for those who were there. You know how it was. The sentiment was catastrophic. And I think everyone was expecting an up-only phase, all the alts popping like in 2020, 21, and we haven't seen that. I think it's very confusing for people who are used to seeing the up-only 2017, 2018, and then the up-only 2021, and now just seeing that with tens of thousands of new tokens released every day, it's very difficult to have an up-only market, right? Just because there's so many things. It's very simple. It's supply and demand. There's so many things people can buy, and there's not 50 or 100 times more money coming into the market. More money's coming in, but not at the pace at which new tokens are being released. So I'm short-term. I said this, I've been saying this for weeks. I'm short-term in the choppy / bearish camp, especially with what Trump has been talking about in terms of tariffs and everything. I don't think we've seen the bottom yet. I think, and I'm fine with it. I think we chop for a bit, unless if there's like a very like a bullish announcement from Trump, or if they remove the tariffs. I know he's set to talk to Canada today, Monday or Tuesday, in the US. We'll see what happens. I think that, like I said, my stance is, short-term choppy, so probably between 90 to 110, so a $90,000 to $110,000 Bitcoin before the next leg up. I think that it's healthy. I mean, if you look at the liquidation levels of the last day or two, there was a lot of leverage. I mean, this is something that we're used to seeing. I don't think there's anything abnormal. I think that there was too much hope, maybe from a portion of the market, expecting that Trump would send Bitcoin to 120, 130, 150,000 quickly. And again, that can happen. But I think it's important to always be cautious too, and to understand that in bull markets you have major pullbacks, 20, 30, 40%, and then the bull resumes. So we'll see what happens with these tariffs. I think that I see CT, so I see, and you see this all the time, right? Twitter, whenever there's something new in the world, right? Like a few weeks ago, I think it was like November, December, when you had these strange lights on the East Coast around New York, New Jersey. Everyone was a UFO expert, right? And then now everyone's a tariff expert. It's like, why not leave tariffs to people who've been studying the economy for decades and who actually understand how this works? And let's just see how the market reacts, instead of becoming an overnight tariff expert. So that's my take, and my tongue-in-cheek comments about, everyone wants to be a tariff. Oh, tariffs are going to do this. Like, dude, like, you're like 18 years old. You literally have gone through 0 financial crises. Like, I don't think you're the best person to talk about, how tariffs will affect the economy under Trump. And what happens if he wakes up tomorrow and he wants to impose tariffs on the EU, which is something that he talked about yesterday. We don't know, right? So I think we're in a very Trump-dependent cycle. You can quote me on that. Matthias says we're in a very Trump-dependent cycle. If and when Trump, and what's interesting too, and this is one of the main points I want to make. If you look at how much ETH did Trump buy through the let's see, world, they're buying tens of millions of Ethereum almost every day lately. So it's very interesting. Let me have a look here. Trump world. So this is 4 days ago. Trump Media Group investing $250 million in crypto ETFs and more. And then World Liberty Financial. Last week, we're having lunch with a friend, and very, very, connected in crypto. And that day, I think Trump bought like $55 million worth of ETH. So we're very much in a Trump dependent cycle. If whether you like it or not, that's just how it is. And I think that that's not going to change. I think that's going to be, honestly, I think it's going to be one of the main narratives for this cycle. So Trump is very much pro crypto. Trump also likes being Trump, unpredictable. It's really not only about crypto, meaning he has, he's been talking about Mexico for years now. Canada more recently about the tariffs. I saw the clip. If you haven't seen the Justin Trudeau reaction, I think Justin is just being exposed as incompetent yet again by Trump and just ineffective as a leader. I think Canadians are very unhappy with the way he's been handling the country for years. You can just see the comments under every single video. And I think that, Trump likes to win. He likes to be the alpha. I started studying Trump when I was, late teens, early 20s. I read almost all his books. The Art of the Deal. Oh my God, there's so many. Art of the Deal is the main one. A lot about real estate. There's one that's, there's one called No Such Thing as Overexposure. Actually, this is interesting. If you guys want to understand really how Donald Trump really thinks, go back to his old books before there was a political agenda. The recent books really don't tell the story because the ghostwriters use, by the way, he doesn't write his own books, by the way, just so you know, like no one does. But if you want to understand, if you want to have a better understanding about how Trump thinks, read and watch his old interviews, and so watch the old interviews, documentaries, and read his first books. I initially read them because he was a very successful business guy in a world pre-social media. I did, when the only way the only way as a young entrepreneur when I was in my late teens, I mean mid-teens even, because I really started reading biographies like of entrepreneurs and investors when I was 14, 15 years old. The only way you would actually get information back in the late 90s was through books or documentaries on DVD, so, or VHS. So, pain that the young generation will never understand. There was no YouTube, there was no TikTok. So I remember going to the library and just looking at biographies and business biographies and seeing his books. And so, I think, so coming back to Trump today, he loves to be the center of attention, right? He literally wrote a book with, I think it was with Kiyosaki, called No Such Thing as Overexposure. Very good book about advertising, PR, media in general. Highly recommended if you're in those fields. And what's interesting is, there's one guy, I would say there's one guy and one guy only who really understands Trump. And I think you should all follow him if you're interested in really understanding the psyche that Trump operates with. And his name is Scott Adams. All right. So go to one of his, actually it would be very fun to have him on the show at some point, because he is someone that has been not pro-Trump, but who understood the mastery that Trump has when it comes to media, PR, and getting attention. And I actually wrote a book about Trump. I haven't released it yet. It's about Trump and his, let's call it, Trump is a master communicator, a master persuader. And if you really understand propaganda, if you understand communication, if you want to understand the media, Trump is one of the best in history at getting attention. And the only person I've read who understands Trump the way I do, when it comes to with a persuasion lens, when it comes to the rhetoric, when it comes to the wording, when it comes to repetition, when it comes to the choice of words and metaphors, is Scott Adams, the guy who, what's the cartoon? Dilbert, I believe. Dilbert. Yes. Scott Adams Dilbert. So so this guy on Twitter, his handle is, everyone should, I mean, those who are really interested in like Trump persuasion, Scott Adams Says. All right. I'd love to get him on the show at some point. Trump is a master communicator, master persuader. That's how you would label him, master persuader. And so one of the things that he does is he loves to make people react to him. Very important, right? This is, again, a new tangent on the CoinRock Show. Are you liking this, by the way? This is like so off the cuff. Like I have like a bunch of notes here that I put together for like CoinRock project, but this is completely off the cuff. Trump is a master persuader. And so what master persuaders do is they make you respond to them. And if you notice, all the headlines are about Trump today. Like the last few months, that's the playbook. He will say something extreme, even years ago. And this, I think the very first big idea, and this is for all my marketing friends here on the show. The first big idea that Trump came out with years ago, so this is when Obama was running the country, was about the birther situation. You guys remember that? The birther situation. He went on TV and he said, hey, is Obama really born in the US? I don't know. And so he started pushing that narrative, that big idea. And of course, the media ran with it. And he's a master. Trump is a master at pitching the big idea and getting other people to react to the big idea. I'll give you another example. So this is like hardcore propaganda. If you want to understand propaganda, there's another great book. So I highly recommend there's a book from Scott Adams it's probably the best book about Trump and persuasion. There's another one that everyone should read about when it comes to communication propaganda in general, and it's called Propaganda, and it's from Eddie Bernays. It's a short book. Everyone in media communications should study it. I've read it maybe 10 times. It's called Propaganda by Edward Bernays, who was Freud's nephew. And so you can see if you read Propaganda and then you read Scott Adams' book about Trump called Winning Bigly or Win Bigly. Scott Adams Bigly. Win Bigly. Win Bigly, Persuasion in a World Where Facts Don't Matter. It's an amazing book. And so one thing that master persuaders do is they throw a big idea and it rattles the public. And then the public has to react. And you see him do that all the time. Birther rights now, right? Or, hey, was Obama born in the US? Oh my God, that's if you're the media and you're running Fox or CNN, I mean, that's the headline. That's the headline you want on TV. You know, Trump confronts Obama. Was Obama born in the US? And so if you go back and you study Trump's political career so far, there's dozens of these big ideas, right? When he ran in 2016, it was about, one of the big ideas was the big wall. We're going to build a wall and Mexico will pay for it. That, you understand that so well. So again, the media reacts to it. So coming back now to tariffs, he's throwing these huge tariffs, right? 25% on Canada, Mexico yesterday. Now the media has to react. So then what happens? Local media, right? Trudeau has to go yesterday, literally last night. He has to imagine, right? It's Sunday evening, right? It's Sunday and you're chilling and you're the prime minister of a country in Canada, right? And it's like, shit, Trump said that. I have to react. I literally have to go and give a press conference to respond to something that Trump just said. So you don't control the narrative at all if you're Trudeau today. If you're the president of Mexico, you control nothing. You react. And that's a master trait of persuaders. That's what Trump does. So tariffs. Tariffs, we'll see. This tariff situation, just so you guys know, it could be solved today. It could last for weeks. That's the truth. You don't know. No one knows, right? Probably they're gonna have a talk today. The world literally is watching Trump operate. Is it going to go from 25% to 50%? Because then Trudeau said, "Oh, we'll match the 25% on U.S. goods," and then Trump came back. I think, and said 50%. What happens next? What happens if he wakes up tomorrow? If Trump comes up and he says, "Hey, EU, we're going to impose tariffs. It's going to be 10%, 15, 20% on all European goods, including cars." That's a big problem for Germany, right? So this could last for days and weeks. That's why, and the problem is now having an asset, right? Crypto, Bitcoin, being so correlated to what's happening in the news in general. As soon as those headlines hit, you see an immediate reaction. Of course, the market makers are here to make money, so leverage traders get wrecked, and so either you buy back or you get liquidated, and that's it. Until the next Trump headline. So you have to understand the players in this market today. It's not Binance. It's not Coinbase. It's Trump today. We'll see what happens overseas. We'll see what happens between the US and Europe, the US and China, US and Russia. I don't know. Unless if you're in the situation room, like literally in Trump's cabinet, and I'll bet a lot of money that even like only his closest circle have an idea of what he's going to do. And even then, there's a very famous quote from ex-Trump staffers who were always told, "Let Trump be Trump. That's it. Let Trump be Trump. You don't control Trump. You don't tell him what to say. You can suggest things, but Trump will come up and say what he wants to say." So again, yeah, 10, 15, 20% tariffs on the EU for days and weeks. That could happen. What happens next? Does the head of the EU, because Trump's not going to negotiate, he's not flying to Brussels to negotiate with the EU after imposing tariffs. EU leaders are flying to the US. So when does that happen? I don't know. Tomorrow, next week, in 2 weeks. So that's why right now we are in a Trump-dependent market. Price action is 100% correlated to what Trump decides and how, the market responds to that, how other players, other countries respond to that. And there's a lot of bullish headlines. Like, have a look at what we posted, right? So let's have a look at what we have today. And this proves my point. So we posted this on my let's put this here. So we posted this a few hours ago, like a couple hours ago. Trump headline. Trump headlines. Yeah, pretty much. We live in Trump's world today. But I was going to say crypto headlines. Let's have a look. So, XRP considered a potential US crypto reserve asset. That's pretty bullish, right? XRP was literally sued by the SEC for years, and now they're considered to potentially considered a US crypto reserve asset. That's bullish. Utah may become, this is just today. I mean, if you scroll back through all the headlines that we post, 90% of these are bullish. Utah may become the first US state to pass a Bitcoin reserve bill. Insane a few years ago. Like, for those who've been here since 2017, I mean, there's 12 states, I think, in the US now considering a Bitcoin reserve bill. Coinbase gains FCA approval. So basically, the FCA is the SEC in the UK. Crazy bullish. The UK has been anti-crypto for years. I have friends who have companies connected to their names, personal names in the UK, that had their corporate accounts shut down just because they trade crypto and they have an Instagram account that says crypto trader. So the UK has been notoriously bad in terms of crypto, and now Coinbase gains, FCA approval to expand crypto services to the UK. Uphold launches crypto staking for UK customers. Thailand. The Thailand SEC plans to introduce a tokenized securities trading system. Japan's prime minister calls crypto, quote, extremely important ahead of the 2025 tax review. Bitcoin dominance, and this goes on, right? And then, yes, of course, the bearish thing is, not bearish, but I'd say like the cautious is analysts warn of continued volatility as Trump prepares more tariffs. That's what I basically said. That's just for today. Yesterday, I think we had headlines too yesterday. Yeah. The Fed, Ethereum trader, okay, whale alerts, Ethereum long trade liquidated. This was yesterday, so that was when there was a big crash. So that's yesterday wasn't really bullish. So let's go back to the previous day. There you go. World Liberty doubles down on ETH with an additional $10 million purchase. MicroStrategy raises $563 million to buy more Bitcoin. The first ever 100K monthly close. Stablecoin market surges past $200 billion, signaling a potential crypto price upswing. Swiss bank UBS tests blockchain for digital gold investments on ZK Sync. I mean, it is insane. In a normal, rational world, these headlines would pretty much be up only. So we live in a Trump dependent world today, and crypto, whether you want to accept it or not, is very much Trump dependent. So what happens to your bags? Well, it could get much worse, like Fire Guy says. I think so. I do think that seeing the sentiment on the timeline, I mean, I think the looking back at the FTX and the Luna crash, this is comparable. Like over the last 24 hours, the amount of whining and this is the end of the world, and this is we saw froth in December. There were too many memes. We're going back to 30K, 40K BTC. It's pretty interesting. Classic case of investor and trader psychology. I'm personally extremely bullish in the mid to long term. When I say mid to long term, I'm saying I think the coming weeks might be tough. But again, why might? Because Trump can say, "Hey, by the way, we found a solution. Canada's going to do this, and we're removing tariffs." Maybe. I think that we have more pain to come. I think Trump wants to make a statement. I think your strategy, unfortunately, has to be around, if you're a short-term trader, you have to be very Trump dependent, right? What's the headline? If you are a holder, this should not matter to you. Like literally, this should not shake you out. If you have conviction in your plays, in your bags, this should not frighten you. That's my take. So if it does, I mean, can you reduce your positions? Sure, maybe, but is it worth it? Sometimes holding through is actually more profitable than trading in and out, right? And that's how you get wrecked and chopped. So again, it depends what kind of investor and trader you are. I'm very, very long term. So for me, it doesn't matter to me. In the short term, I think we see some more suckiness. I think mid to long term, it's extremely bullish. That's my take. We'd love to hear what you guys think. Post in the comments here. Let's take a few minutes here to go through the comments. Like, share. So thank you everyone for joining. We're on for an hour already, and I haven't even gone through some of my notes here. So we will be doing these live streams every day. I'm still going to be around, probably going to do like anywhere between 30 to 60 minutes more. So if you just joined, stay on. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about the market. Are you afraid? Can you smell the fear? Are you chill? What's that meme? What's that mean with the big dude and the pond saying like comfy in spot, chilling? Let me find that one. Meme with dude in pond chilling. Unmoistured. There you go. This is great. I'm going to post this. Unbothered, moisturized, happy, in my lane, focused, flourishing. This is very funny, actually. Copy image. Let's paste this and let's share this. All right. So I just posted this. That's the meme. For those who have conviction in their positions, you should be like this big guy in the pond. Just refresh my feed and you'll see that meme. So welcome to those who just joined. This is the CoinRock Show. We do these. Well, we did 2 last week. We're gonna do these every day, almost every day. Maybe I'll need to take a day off every now and then, but pretty much every day. CoinRock is a venture, so a VC, technically a VC fund, but the big difference is we only invest in what we build. So we are a VC investor builder fund. We have built now 3 projects. One is a casino called Cyclics Games, ticker CYG, launched last year. We have a lot of updates for that. Unfortunately, the market is so wrecked and dead these days that there's no real point in marketing and pushing CYG and the casino, but there's plans for that, of course. So everything's pretty much ready. We just announced the something that we've been working on for a while now, which is the Cyclics lottery. That's going to be coming out this week. So if you're in the Cyclic group, you know it. We shared the links and the pictures a few days ago. That's going to be, so it's basically a giant Powerball. So a crypto Powerball, and that's in the casino. So that's the Cyclics lottery. We're also developing another game. I'll get to that in a few moments here. It's one of the updates I wanted to give everyone who's in Cyclics. No one knows about this. Actually, I think we talked about this maybe in one of the groups this morning. So this is like alpha for those who are in Cyclics. But yeah, so that was the first project. Then we have another project, which is a DeFi project. It was launching initially on ETH. It's a project called VaultFi, Vault Finance, and we switched that to Solana. We ran a poll to the community and we said, hey, do you want us to launch on ETH or Sol? Everything was ready on ETH, smart contracts audited and everything. 85% of the community said, let's launch on Solana. Makes sense, gas fees and everything. Much more bullish on Sol. And so the smart contracts have gone through audits. We have we're almost at the end of the audits for the smart contracts. I just had feedback today from the team, so we're literally just waiting to see a better situation in the market to launch that one, to go TGE. The pre-sale is closed. You can't even buy VaultFi. This is like a quick update for everyone who's in. And the newest project is JeetBot. As you can see here, this show sponsored by JeetBot, produced and developed by CoinRock, with Justin Liverman, who is Default Trades, and Lucas Demos, who's Blockchain Boy. They have an amazing team. So it's basically CoinRock, my partner Kais and I, so the two of us, and Justin and Lucas. And that's a full-blown trading ecosystem, starting with the Telegram bots. It is finished. It is done. It's ready to launch. And we'll be dropping the link for you guys to start referring people. We have a six level deep referral program, which means that you can refer someone who then refers someone who refers someone up to 6 levels, and you make a commission every time, on each of these levels. We'll do a full live stream for that specifically. But yeah, that's a trading bot that we built everything in house for, developed fully by CoinRock, and that's launching in the next couple days. So very exciting for that. So for those who just joined, that's the update on that side. So let's have a look at some of the comments here. Yes, Fire Guy says it could get much worse. It could actually get much worse. Could get much worse. Let's have a look here. If I click on these, what happens if I click on China in the New Year? They won't respond until then. This going to drag on a bit. I do think so. I do think so. Can I show these? Do you guys see this comment? These comments? It could get much worse. I do agree. Let's have a look. How does this look? We've been using this new software, which so far I'm really liking. I just want to see how it looks on the front when I push these comments. Oh, nice. Very nice. So I can see, I can actually push these comments to the main screen. Very cool. So thank you for joining us. We'll be going through the updates here too. CTVIII. That's Chip. What's up, Chip? Chip is a CoinRock Maxi. Love Chip. Chip puts together these amazing threads. Everyone should follow Chip. I'm actually going to share this. For those that already have access, will we need to change anything for ref codes? No. No, that's Chip. Let me add that. Show. Zach, WYM. What does that mean? What does your comment mean, my bro? Yes, Meglin, I agree with that. Meglin says, I feel like we have a few more weeks of chop before potentially going up. I say more time for CoinRock to cook. Yes, that's exactly what I say. So that's pretty much, that's the plan internally. So that's pretty much it on the Trump side. Again, the thing now is we could see an update from Trump today, and not we could see, we will see. There's never going to be a day where there's not a Trump headline. He loves to dictate the narrative, and that's why I think he's an amazing leader. Whether you agree with the policy is different. I don't agree with everything he endorses or everything. I don't agree with all his policies. I think it's healthy to have, to stay, I'd say not neutral, but I mean, between him and Kamala Harris and the Democrats, what's funny is I have intelligent, like high IQ friends who still think and are ready to argue with me and bring what they think are intelligent comments, who still think that Kamala Harris would have been better for the country. And it's like, my God, like we went to the same school. You're a smart dude. I know we grew up together. You are intelligent. But that is a horrible, horrible take. So I definitely think that of everything that was presented during the US election, Trump was the best and necessary. He literally I think he saved a lot of things. I think it's very funny to me seeing the rhetoric around Trump, especially the Nazi thing, the Hitler thing, which I think is it's so laughable. I know this. I have a very personal connection with that statement about Trump being a Nazi and Hitler. Reason why is my granddad. So for those who I get these DMs every now and then asking if my last name is Polish, and the reason is the answer to that is yes. My dad's family is from Poland, so I have 50% Polish. My granddad was a leader in the Polish resistance and fought the Nazis. He literally formed resistance groups during World War II. He has an amazing story. And he was awarded dozens of medals, and he literally fought the Nazis, bombed Nazi convoys. It was wartime, so he fought the Nazis, like in the movies. So it's funny because whenever my dad watches a movie, for example, there's a movie that came out about 10, 15 years ago called The Way Back, I think it was with Colin Farrell. Let's have it. The Way Back. The Way Back. It came out, no. Yeah, The Way Back. So it's a 2010 movie with Colin Farrell. The Way Back. Ed Harris. And it's about the Siberian gulags and everything. And so when my dad saw that, he was like, yeah, this is he was very unimpressed. He's like, this is a documentary. This is nothing special. I'm like, it's a great movie. He's like, this is what my dad. So my dad telling me this is what my dad did. Like this, like NBD, no big deal, right? So my granddad was a leader in the Polish resistance during World War II. I have several family members who, whoops, where's the cursor? I have several family members who died in the gas in the concentration camps. So my granddad was imprisoned in a labor camp, forced labor camp by the Nazis. He escaped, and after his escape, he literally led hundreds of men fighting the Nazis. And so I know that part of history very well. I've studied it, studied Nazi Germany a lot because I have a like literally it's part of my heritage in a way. And it's very funny to see the media labeling Trump as a Nazi, as Hitler. It's like, oh my God, do you actually know what Hitler did? It's insane. So that being said, I don't agree with all. I don't think anyone agrees with everything he pushes, and I think it's healthy to have to keep an open mind, and you don't need to agree with everything he he pushes or promotes or endorses. But I 1000% think he was the only choice and the only chance for the U.S. to make it out of the shit show that it's been for the last several years, and it's been very tough. I'm not a U.S. citizen, but I love the U.S. I love what the U.S. was, and I hate what the U.S. has become over the last 5-10 years. I lived in the U.S. for 2 years, loved it. I say over half my close friends are American. It's very strange to see what the U.S. has become. I remember I lived in Topanga and Malibu for 2 years. Now everyone knows Topanga since the fires, because literally, hundreds of houses that I used to hike around burnt in Topanga, and of course, thousands and thousands of houses burnt to dust in Santa Monica, the Pacific Palisades, everything. So it's been a shit show in the U.S. And I think the only person who could mitigate or have a chance to change and turn things around is Trump. So I hope for my U.S. friends that things turn out for the best. I think that if we talked about this last week too with a friend. If Kamala Harris would have won, I think Bitcoin would have probably dropped to 70, 80K temporarily. And that's the main thing here. Temporarily, meaning it would have at some point gone back up to, the 150, 200K Bitcoin. That's, I think, inevitable. No one can stop that. I do think it would have been super bearish short to midterm, maybe even for a couple of years. So yeah, we'll see what happens with the US, but we live in a Trump, or you trade, my friends, in a Trump dependent market. Let's see what happens today with the headlines or anything that he announces. The responses, of course, from other countries around. So let's have a look here. Let's have a look at some of the comments, questions. Okay, let's do this. So we talked about market news, market updates. Let's see some of the questions here. Moneybag says, can we get CYG staking update for rewards and distribution timeframe? Can't give you a time frame on the distribution. We'll have updates for staking in the near future. I think the next release is the lottery, and that's going to be, we'll be pushing that nicely. Obviously, there's no point in pushing anything now because it's pretty much a down-only market. Anything promoted now is going to get sold into. You can see all the alts getting crushed. There's no point. But the lottery will be, the Powerball, the lottery has been in the works for several months now. So it will definitely be marketed well. And so everything's planned for that. And then I will say, we have another game. Let me talk about this one. Do we have any CYG Do we have any CYG holders? Put some love in the comments here. So, Cyclics games. So the lottery is the next release. After that, we have a pretty amazing game that's getting built in house. It's probably one of the hypiest and the most exciting games that I've ever seen online, and it's going to be very interesting to see your reaction to that one, because I think you'll like it. Thank you for all the CoinRock Maxi love here, and then we have a few Stonewoody, Angel, CYG. The game that we're building, so the lottery is going to be released and pushed. We want to maximize marketing results, and so there's really no point in promoting it today, or unless if we see a swift turnaround to the market dip, or should I say, as soon as we see better sentiments, we'll be pushing that. But the game after the lottery is one that I'm personally very excited about, just because it's as fun, maybe even more fun than the lottery. It's crazy viral, and I think it's something you all dig. That's all I will say. So, while the market has been pulling back, we have been building aggressively on all fronts, whether it's Cyclics, of course, and JeetBot, of course, too. VaultFi is a bit different because it's built, it's done. It's just waiting on the auditors now. But yeah, and of course, CoinRock Media, as you can see, I'm putting in the time here. So we have the CoinRock Media platform launching in the next few days. But yeah, overall, very excited about Cyclics and what's going to be happening. We're literally just waiting for better market conditions. I talked to a lot of founders too. I mean, everyone's in the same boat now. It's like there's really no point in pushing any big update, any big news out. I mean, I'll give you the updates here, but for us to like deploy the marketing for things, there's really no point. So, but that will come. That will come. Fire guy, Stonewoody, nice comments here. So that's the update for that was on my notes here. So the lottery, the next game, and the marketing. So we covered that. Oh, next steps for JeetBot. So the next step for JeetBot are very simple, actually. Join the group. We'll be dropping the link. If you guys are watching and we have an IRL connection and we're friends, I know many of you because I can see some of the DMs here. I'll be reaching out personally to you guys, sending you the bot myself. If you guys want to do anything like a live stream for your own communities or anything. Oh yeah, that's also a quick update for everyone. For those who have audiences, communities, Discord groups, Telegram groups, and you want me to do a live stream with your community to talk about JeetBot, ping me either on Telegram if we have an active chat, or just on Twitter. DMs are open for that. We have a few of those planned too. So, and I can see here the comments all good. Let me have a look at some of the groups here that we have. The CoinRock group, JeetBot now. Okay, let's see. My bag dude in the comments. Yes. Okay, so JeetBot is dropping within 48 hours. Yes. Yeah, so one thing about the referral system, it's going to be very competitive because it's a huge airdrop. It's a huge airdrop, and the more you refer, the more you post, the more active you are, the more you can farm the airdrop. And so, what's interesting is because this is the third CoinRock project, the first one was Cyclics, and we raised to build, right? There was nothing, right? When we raised, it was just an idea. And so we raised to build the casino. And this is the opposite. We built the product, and there will be a pre-sale, and that's going to be probably second half of February. It's also market dependent, of course, but you know, we completely maxed out the seed round. So the seed round is closed. The Series A is ongoing. It's going to be filling up very quickly once we release the bot. We have conversations with guys who, you know, want to drop serious amounts on the Series A, so that's ongoing. Lucas will confirm too. So we're having those conversations too. So the Series A is currently open, and then the pre-sale, the token pre-sale will be after that. If you want more details about joining, getting in on the Series A, reach out to one of the mods. Make sure that they're actually a mod in the group, or reach out to me and we can talk about that too. So yes, it is currently raising. Oh, also, for those who want this, the team just pinged me about this one. For those who want to see the deck, I'm just going to put this in here, and let me find this chat. And maybe one of you can actually, I don't think we need to pin this. I'll just put this in the there you go. JeetBot overview public PDF. So if you guys want to see the deck of JeetBot and the vision, the roadmap, and everything, I just posted the link in the on Twitter, so you can have a look at that. Let's have a look at some of the comments here. Kais, I just saw your message. Give me just a sec. Okay, let's have a look. So let me read some of the updates here. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. JeetBot is looking pretty fucking amazing. I'm very happy to see this, seeing the reactions in the group here. So let's talk about JeetBot, talked about CYG, talked about VaultFi. Then I have in my notes here JeetBot passive income. Well, JeetBot passive income. Let me just scroll up here in the comments. Ooh, Stone Woody has some breaking news. Let's see. Let's see what's happening with Mexico. It's pretty cool to have like breaking news on live streams. Let's have a look. Mexico troops. What's this about Mexico troops? 7 minutes ago, the president of Mexico agrees to send 10,000 troops to the southern border, so to the US, to stop the flow of drugs and people. That's interesting. So again, Mexico to send 10,000 troops to the border to help stop drug trafficking and illegal immigration. Hence, President Trump has agreed to pause tariffs on Mexico. Another Trump headline. We're literally living, like I said, you know, let's see what did the markets do. Let's see. BTC USDT. Yeah. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. The only time I actually check the charts, like I think it's going to be on these lives. Yeah. Again, I think the market is not it's just afraid. Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty right now. Mexico has surrendered. We will reinforce the northern border with 10,000 National Guard troops to prevent drugs, specifically fentanyl, from entering the U.S. Wow. See, there you go. That's another Trump dependent headline. Very interesting. So there you go. Live. Literally proves my point. Trump throws these big ideas, these not even threats, like literally like these measures on other countries, and then other countries have to react. And that's what he's a master at. So I could talk about that for hours, but yes, Trump, this literally, guys, your financial future depends on Trump. I mean, it's a, it is funny. It is funny. It is what it is, though. So tariffs are halted with Mexico for 1 month. Interesting. Thanks, Maxime. Thanks for the update. So again, that's a very Trumpish thing to do, right? So you throw something out, country responds, and then you remove the measure, but also keeping an eye on it. So it's very interesting. Typical, and I think it's good. I think it's good. It shows that the U.S. is back. Imagine Biden doing that. Biden would have never done that, right? Of course. I mean, the fentanyl issue really, or the epidemic really came to light over the last 5 to 10 years, really the last 5 years. So what, just pre-COVID a bit, but like it's exploded. I have a friend who lives several friends in San Francisco downtown. They had to move. I mean, it's unbelievable. I used to love San Francisco. I used to go to the Cheesecake Factory for all my San Francisco friends. Cheesecake Factory, Union Square, top floor. You know that. Next to Macy's. And I used to go to, I think it was either Barnes & Noble or Borders on the northwest. Was it northwest? Like the upper left of, so you have Cheesecake Factory here. You have Union Square, and then over there you had Barnes & Noble. I don't know if it still exists. Maybe they closed it down, but San Francisco is a shit show. It's a very sad state of affairs, and so I think it's unacceptable for a country, for those tier 1 cities that were once the pride of the U.S., to self-destruct. So let's see what happens now. I think it's very bullish for the U.S. in general, beyond crypto. I think it's needed, and Biden and Harris, they could have done that years ago, but they didn't. So Maxime, thanks for that headline. Eden, thank you. Publishing Goat, thanks for that. Let's have a look at some of the other comments here. Yeah, overall, that's literally living in a Trump simulation. So again, but it doesn't mean that it's over, right? That's what I think everyone has to understand, that these things can happen. Like tariffs can be imposed tomorrow. Like I said, on the EU, he literally talked about that yesterday. So it's gonna be very interesting to see the coming days and weeks. I think we're gonna stay choppy, and then mid to long term extremely bullish. Eden, do you still do publishing or only crypto at the moment? Both. So I have several publishing brands. So for those who don't know, I come from the world of Web 1, Web 2, started selling online over 20 years ago. And really one of I'd say my core businesses for over a decade was publishing information. So selling information when it wasn't cool to sell information. It's cool now to sell courses and PDFs and audios and books and membership sites and all these companies like WAP and templates and masterminds. I started doing that 20 years ago. I was initially an affiliate for a site called ClickBank, among others. There were many others. I would resell PDFs as an affiliate, and then I started selling information that I would publish myself. Either I would hire experts, interview them, publish them, and then either split the money with them, or pay them by the hour, just to basically productize their knowledge into information products. And that's what I did I still do it, but that's what I did way before it was cool to sell information online. Now, selling courses and information has become so common. I did it 20 years ago. And so, I wrote a book. Let's see if I can pull it up here. I'll put it up at the break here. It's in in the cupboard here. Wrote a book about information publishing. I still have several partnerships, but my time, to answer your question, my time is really, I'd say 90% in crypto on the building side, on the venture side. My information products, I mean, to be honest, they take me, I'd say 5 to 10% of my time, not more. So I got to a state to a stage where I don't need to be active. You know, the products are done, the experts are delivering the coaching programs. I do maybe a few calls a month at most. It used to be much more before getting more like building in crypto, but I'd say my time is really 90% plus in crypto now, building, investing and all that. So yes, publishing still, I still have publishing brands in the health space, in the financial space, in the make money space. For those who have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry about it, but you can actually learn a lot just by watching YouTube. There's a lot of information now about how to start information businesses. So selling information. So my business model for years was basically either selling my own information, so how to market online, how to do email marketing, how to do social media, how to get leads for businesses, how to build an agency. I ran one of the fastest growing agencies in Europe. I was the first CEO to be interviewed by Facebook at the Facebook headquarters in Dublin in 2018 or 19. I'll drop the link. I think I have the link here in the probably have the link to the interview here in. Oh yeah, here. Let's see. So anyway, my businesses have spent tens of millions of dollars on paid advertising. That's really my oh, there you go. Let me put this. It's a Dropbox link. I'll put this in the comments if you guys want to watch that. This was 20. When was this? Let me just drop this. So I think 2018. So yeah, that was so I just linked the interview here for those who want to watch. It's very it's really been my life for like 15 years. I still have publishing brands. I don't do much. Mostly, they're automated. They're run by my directors, and I consult for them. I have ownership in them. I don't teach as much anymore. That's pretty much it. Let's have a look. You still do publishing or only crypto at the moment? I'm definitely going to read your book. Oh yeah. So I linked the book in one of the groups. So let me have this. Actually, let's take a quick 5-minute break. We'll come back and then we'll talk about that too in a moment. I'll get the book. Stay on. We'll take a quick break and we will be back in a sec. Let me just add this and see you guys in a few. Hey, Matthias here, and if you're enjoying this and want access to even more alpha, early stage deals and opportunities, and also behind the scenes insights on the markets, hit the link in the description and make sure you're subscribed. It's free and it puts you ahead of the curve. Let's get back to the show. Talking about the model, not the model, in the interview, in the Facebook interview I just linked. Let's have a look. Why is this so slow? Like the stream quality is really good. Sometimes just load slowly. Let's have a look at this. Actually, I think what we'll do is the team will drop this. We'll remove this now. And we'll just drop the link on the the full video. It'll be easier actually on the feed. Anyway, long story short, I was the first CEO in Europe to be interviewed by Facebook because we're spending so much money on Facebook ads. And so I wrote this book, which is called Information Publishing Secrets. You see it? Yeah. Information publishing secrets. And so it's a real book. It's like 300 and with basically all my experience about, so it's my blueprint for selling $150 million of information and expertise online. This is a huge reason why I'm here today and why I quote made it in business and got to where I am in life is through selling information. Also wrote another book which we talked about a few times called The 30 Golden Rules for Entrepreneurs. This has been translated in French. It was actually initially written in French, translated in English and Dutch. Anyway, so the book that Eden was referring to is this one. So yes, it is a real book, real thick book. And this is, I mean, honestly, it's one of the best books about selling information, how to sell information online and build businesses when it comes to productizing, coming back to the word productizing. So the way I would do it is initially I would productize myself. So actually the very first book I wrote, the very first information product I sold was a dating product. And I actually pulled the screenshots here from 2006. This is on page 10. This is literally the picture of the first sales page I wrote for my first product. And I was, so this is 2000, I was 20 years old. This site is on the web archive. So you can actually find it on the archive, the internet archive. It was, I had no idea about, so the way it worked is I saw this guy who was selling information online in the dating space, meaning advice for people to, advice on how to talk to women, have more self-confidence and all that, right? I had no idea. I mean, I was, think of this, right? I was training and trained as a professional tennis player. Every waking minute of my time, my life was going to school or practicing tennis. No time for girls. My coaches for years were like, no girls. We play tennis. That's all we do. We play tennis. We travel the world and we play in, I was traveling to the European Championships, World Championships. I was #1 in the country in Switzerland, played against all the legends that you've seen on TV, like Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal. Was lucky enough to practice with Roger Federer several times and dozens of other players from my age group. And so I had no idea about like picking up girls. Like it was never a concept for me. But I saw this guy who was running. I read an article at the time, or maybe a I don't know, an interview. But I came across some information that there's a guy in the U.S. who was making $8 million a year selling dating information on how to become more successful with girls. So I was like, I read the book, and I was like, I can write this. And so what I did was I interviewed several, maybe 15, 20 friends, tennis friends, older friends than me, because I was good at tennis. And so I would always play with older players because I was #1 in my age group. So I would play with the older players. And so I was like, oh, these guys, some of these guys are actually really good. Like they know how to, they know their way. They know how to talk to women. And I was like, okay, I'm going to interview them. And so I bought this recorder. What journalists had before the iPhone, these small voice recorders, and I would ask them like 15, 20 questions. I would transcribe the answers, like, what's the first thing you should say to a girl when you meet her? What should you not say? All that kind of stuff. And then I transcribed manually because there was no AI at the time. This is 2005, 2006. I then transcribed those interviews and I put them in a book, and the book was maybe 150 pages long. Turned that into a PDF, taught myself how to code. So I read books, the 4 Dummies books, how to code HTML and PHP, built that website that you see on the web archive, and sold that PDF. That's how I made my first $10,000 selling information online, which was my own information. And at the time I was like, oh, I'll just use my real name. So actually, yes, my real name is on that sales page. So yeah, I mean, selling information was really my thing for like 15 years, over 15 years. And then I took a step back during COVID. I sold several businesses I had, sold my several e-commerce businesses too, because having been in the tech industry, in the information publishing, but also the ad tech, so advertising technology industry for 15 years, and actually more, because I started advertising on Google in the early 2000s, very early, when Google Ads just started out. And, it was interesting because I saw during COVID the valuations of even publicly listed companies like Etsy and Shopify were skyrocketing, right? I don't know if you guys remember. I mean, e-commerce was popping because everyone was stuck at home. The only thing that was viable was buying online. Amazon, Shopify, all these online platforms. And so I had a few. So in that interview, that Facebook interview, I talk about basically a new model that I came up with when I was running an agency. I had over 50 employees in London. What we did was we would do typical agency work for companies, right? I mean, dozens of IRL clients and customers. We would do websites and online advertising and funnel marketing and lead acquisition and lead nurturing and social media management, of course, all that stuff. And so between the years of 2015 and 2018, 2019, I ran a very successful agency. And so, of course, when people started building their own agencies, and also advertising costs on Facebook and Google, started rising, the margins for agencies just started crashing. And so, you would basically charge a client. Let's say you charge a client $5,000. Your costs to deliver the actual service was maybe around $500 to $1,000, because we had really good SOPs, really good systems, good team, good everything. So it was very cheap. I mean, I was honestly printing. Everyone who ran an agency during those years between 2014 to 2020 was making insane money. And this is aside from selling information. This was like pure delivery, client facing, like doing work for clients. And then in 2018, I felt that there was, when you supply a service and you're in the middle, right? You don't manufacture, you get squeezed sooner or later. All these industries happen, right? If you're a broker or a middleman, you get squeezed. It's just the nature of business. And so what I did was, the next evolution of that was actually doing the marketing. So doing the marketing, owning the brands, owning the e-commerce brands, owning the information publishing brands, but actually owning them and doing the marketing. So doing the marketing because I had the marketing teams, but actually not doing it for clients. So stopping clients. So we got rid of all the clients. For some, we had like 12-month contracts, so we delivered. And then I was like, no more clients. We are owning and acquiring stakes in different businesses and then injecting marketing. And that's basically how then after that, I wrote the book. I wrote the book in 2023. And so now what I do is, on the information publishing side, on the Web2 side, this is something I don't really talk about in crypto even, is what we do is we acquire stakes in existing brands, and then we basically improve or inject marketing, social media marketing, paid acquisition, paid ads, better nurturing sequences, better follow-up sequences, better pricing strategies, and we just 2, 3, 5, 10x the business, sometimes more than 10x. So that's really my core skill set, is Web 1, Web 2 marketing, old school marketing in a way. But yeah, so a long answer, but yes, I still have that portfolio. I sold several in 2020, took about 18 months off, played Zelda, literally Zelda, if you ask my wife. For like a year, I was just like, I played Breath of the Wild. Do I have any Zelda fans here? Because let me have a look. Let me put you guys up here. It's actually very funny. Yeah, I was like, I didn't play video games for years, and then I sold several of my companies, and I was like, I don't want to do much for now. So I spent more time in crypto. That's when I started trading a lot more, and I was like, I'm just gonna play video games. And I hit my numbers. I quote retired. I think everyone should have a number where you know that enough is enough and you're good. I hit that. I was like, I'm gonna play Zelda, and so played Breath of the Wild, finished it like 5 times, almost all the CoinRock seeds. For those who know what a CoinRock seed is, you know how painful those can be. That's it. And then I was like, you know what? And then came crypto. I mean, I started doing more in like 2022, and while I was doing that, I still had a few calls a week or a few calls a month with the brands that I own, but I don't operate them myself. So yes, I consult for them. Yes, we still have coaching, education businesses, membership sites, but I'm not in the day-to-day at all. I'm really more on the strategic side, which is acquiring the business, and then basically plugging in one of the marketing teams that I have to increase the value of that business. But I'm not active on the day-to-day at all. And then when crypto came along, or should I say when the idea of building in crypto came along, I said, okay, I'm going to fully go balls to the wall building in crypto, which was just over a year ago. This was December 2023. And yeah, now it's like back to square one, building 7 days a week. But yeah, I still have the Web2 portfolio. I enjoy it. It's the way I see it is, I actually told this to Lucas, I think it was a few weeks ago. I said, the cool thing with Web2 is consistency, right? My Web2 businesses are going to be there tomorrow. They're going to be there next week. They're going to be there in 6 months. My customers will be there. We have multiple brands. The great thing about Web2, my Web2 businesses, is no one knows I'm running them. No one knows I own them. Very few people actually in the world know that I own the businesses that we control. The upside is more limited. What I mean by that is, a business that's doing $2 million a year, for example, or an information publishing brand, right? If you sell a course and you're doing $5,000 to $10,000 a day, the business does say $1.5 to $3 million, a year. Though that business will not 20x overnight. You're not going to get that to 20 million within 12 months. Very rarely. And so you have that. So I have that stability. It's a bit more boring. There's less upside, but at least you wake up the next morning and you know that you don't have, like a 30% pullback on the market. So it is more sustainable in a way. It's a bit more boring. I enjoy it, but it's something that when you've done something for so long, you also need something new. And so for me, crypto is okay. I've proven my success in Web2. I secured the bag for my life. That's fine, all good. Now let's go and try this in Web3. Let's add and bring the level of sophistication and building to Web3, and let's see where it goes. And that's basically CoinRock. So long story short, yes, I still have the portfolio, not nearly as active as I was years ago. And yeah, spend a few hours a week I'd say on average 2 to 5 hours a week on calls and strategy. I still look at Facebook ads myself. So, I'll be on screen share sessions on Zoom with my media buyers, and we'll go and I'll give them some ad angles and ideas and looking at the numbers but much more in a consultative role and on as an advisor pretty much to my own businesses and brands. Let's have a look here. We have a few comments. Nathan Frame, Zelda, yes. Nice, Nathan. Did you finish? So my first game was Ocarina of Time, like many of you guys, on Nintendo 64. Then I finished Majora's Mask. I think everyone who played Ocarina of Time played Majora's Mask. Then I didn't play much for like 15 years. I skipped. I really didn't like Wind Waker. I didn't like the look. I love the Ocarina of Time vibe. I loved it. It's like my favorite game in history. I love it. So when they came out with the Wind Waker, I was like, oh my God, I can't play this. Just didn't like it. So I skipped it. And then I kind of lost interest in video games. Also paired with the fact that I was working nonstop building my businesses. So I was like, all right, let's put this aside. Didn't play much. And then the first Zelda game I really played again was Breath of the Wild, which I loved. I mean, it's like both are my favorite games, right? Ocarina of Time because it opened up the Zelda franchise and Breath of the Wild, and of course Tears of the Kingdom. And then after finishing Breath of the Wild like 5 times, then I was like, all right, let me go and play the games that came out between Majora's Mask in the 90s. I think it was 90s, right? And then and Breath of the Wild. So I played the Wind Waker, which I finished. I liked it. I really enjoyed the gameplay. I didn't like the whole like sailing thing, but you know, it was good. It was a good game. I love the colors. Like the vibe is actually very, very, very sweet, very cute, very like chill. I loved my God, it's the successor to Ocarina of Time. Can't believe I'm forgetting it. Zelda games. It's the one with the dog. Blank. Dog. The shadows. What is that? What's the name of that one? Twilight Princess, of course. Jesus. Twilight Princess. Love Twilight Princess. I thought it was a bit rigid, but it was like the natural successor to Ocarina of Time. Finished that one too. I thought the gameplay was a bit clunky towards the end when you're like trying to kill Ganondorf at the end. Finished that one. I played Skyward Sword, which I couldn't play more than an hour. I tried several times. I told my wife, like, all right, I finished all the Zelda games. I'm going to try to go back to the one I haven't played, and I just can't. The controls are just bad. I can't. So that's the one I don't enjoy playing. But aside from that, yeah, I finished them all. I'm actually I'd love to play. I thought that they would come out with like an expansion, you know, maybe a few new dungeons for or temples for for Tears of the Kingdom, but they didn't. I really did enjoy Tears of the Kingdom though. Oba, do you still think emails outperform social media? I think both. That's what we're seeing on the information marketing side. Both. So social media. I mean, social media is amazing to build trust. That's really the way we see it. Yes, for the acquisition side, but that's really more on the paid side. So we like organic, but we don't use it only as a means of lead gen, because I love to control lead gen in a very predictable way. So I'm really a paid ads guy. I love paid ads because it's very measurable. So we'll use like paid ads to acquire. We'll use social media and organic to nurture, and we'll use email to push to social media. That's the best. That's pretty much the playbook we run. So it's not just social media or email. It's the combination of both that works the best. Tears of the Kingdom. Yes. Game of the year. Easy. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's have a look. When VaultFi TGE. Well, you know, it's funny. Someone in the group, I don't know if it was in the VaultFi group or one of the CoinRock group, said yesterday, thank God VaultFi didn't TG in January. I mean, we'd be back to like pre-sale price, like TGE prices. So no firm date. No firm date. I mean, the market sucks right now. Trust me, we want to get it out as soon as I think the audit will take at most another week. And then as soon as we have a window where things are looking better, you know, balls to the wall, VaultFi TGE. Let's have a look. Skyward Sword. Really? Nathan, I really didn't enjoy it. It's just the controls. I just didn't enjoy like the sword thing. I felt like it was a bit clunky. Ganondorf. Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe I'll give it a try, but honestly, I have no time now. It's you know, when you're on the building side, it's funny. I work as much now as when I did when I was starting my first businesses like 15 or more than 15 years ago. So when I retired from pro tennis in 2007, I was basically sleeping like 2-3 hours a night, just building, trying different things. There was no course at the time. So you had to basically test and pray that you get things right. But yeah, maybe at some point I'll play it again. Although it's very difficult to go back to the linear games once you play these big open world games. Like, what are the other big ones on PS? Hogwarts is one that I've seen. I haven't played it. The Zeldas, of course, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Is Assassin's Creed an open world one too? I mean, there's a bunch now, right? So, it's one where it's difficult to go back to linear games once you've had open world games. So let's have a look at some of the comments. I think we've covered everything today. So on the referral side for JeetBot, Elden Ring, yeah, Zach said. RuneScape, I haven't played that one. Elden Ring, I haven't played. I know I know Elden Ring is amazing. The problem I will say with these big open games is they take so much time. Like, I don't know how many hundreds of hours I played Breath of the Wild and Zelda. So the two Zeldas just take so much time. So do you want to put in, because if you really want to master and enjoy an open world game, you have to put in hundreds of hours. Like I'll go and immerse myself into that world and know everything about like the weapons and the items and like the hidden caves. So it's like, do I want to? I know this is going to take 500 hours if I start Elden Ring. There was another big open world game at the time, which was called Fable. I think it was on Xbox, PC for sure. Fable. That was also like one of the, almost like I don't think it was in the Heroes of Might and Magic franchise, but one of those kind of like mythical games. If you start one of those open world games, it's hundreds of hours, and I don't have hundreds of hours now. Otherwise, CoinRock goes to zero, guys. Like, do you realize this? Like, if I get back into video games, like there is no CoinRock. So no, it's like a bear market thing. Not now. We have a lot of other things to execute. So I did not play Pokemon. I never really connected with that universe. Counter-Strike, yes, of course. Quake, Doom, Quake 2. What were the first games? MGS, GoldenEye. What else? Mid-90s. I used to like build my own PCs. What else? Quake 1, Doom. Counter-Strike was a bit later. Half-Life 2. Then after that, the Dreamcast, which I was actually very disappointed that Sega just fumbled that one. I waited in line. It was a Saturday morning with my dad in Switzerland. Went to the store, like the equivalent of Best Buy, and I got the Dreamcast. I was so happy. And there was a game that was called Blue something. Was it Dreamcast Blue Stinger? That was one of my favorite games. Blue Stinger. That is 1999. Fuck me, that is 26 years ago. That was good. That was a good game. I mean, relative. Sonic, of course. Shenmue was a very good one too. Do we have any Dreamcast players here? Shenmue 1999. Oh yeah, Doom. Yeah, I haven't played much of the FPS games lately. I'll tell you why, because it might sound a bit weird, but it's like business is very, so what we do, right? So building is, I did play San Andreas though. I did play San Andreas. I thought it was a great game. No. Sorry, I played Vice City, not San Andreas. The only GTA I played was Vice City. What year is Vice City? That was on PS2. I remember. 2001, 2002. GTA Vice City. That was probably one of the first excellent open world games. Yeah, GTA Vice City. So what was I going to say? Shenmue. Yes, of course. Shenmue. Kobe the Goat. Yeah. So there's so much intensity that needs to go, that you need to put into building businesses, that when I play video games, I just want to chill. So I usually pick very mellow games. And to me, Zelda is a very chill game. Yes, you have like combat and stuff, but it's more of an exploration game. So I don't really like FPS games. The only recent FPS game, so the first person shooter game I played recently was GoldenEye. On they released the online Nintendo pack, and they released Ocarina of Time and a bunch of games from the Nintendo 64 from the 90s. I played COD a lot, so I'll tell you a story. Black Ops, right? I used to play Black Ops. What is this? 2010? Black Ops 1. When was this? COD Black Ops. So yeah, 2010. So coming back to information marketing. So I had a partnership with a business partner who was from the UK, and so we sold a coaching program in 2009, 2010 to the US. And so I was at the time living in Switzerland, and what we would do is I would stay up late. I would basically work between the hours of Eastern time, because I had a full sales team. I built sales teams before it was cool to have like setters and closers and sales teams and high ticket sales. I did high ticket sales in 2008. So I'm like a true OG of high ticket sales. And so there's nothing I haven't done when it comes to phone sales. That's also why I can talk for hours and days about sales, persuasion, hooks, big ideas, psychology, consumer psychology, all that stuff. Anyway, so I would work between the hours of, our sales teams were based in Florida and Utah. And so my role in the partnership was supervising the sales teams, building the sales team, and supervising. And I would I would play COD, Black Ops, and I would have my computer next to me on the couch, and I would basically train and coach our sales team. We had about 20 to 30 guys, and they would sell, and I would be on chat with them on Skype, and then I would play multiplayer COD, and every 5-10 minutes just check in the chat, answer their questions while they were making sales, high ticket sales for the business. So yeah, I played a lot of Black Ops 1, but after that, not much. It was a great game though. So I would work between the hours of my ex-girlfriend at the time hated it because I would work between, Eastern Mountain Time. So in Europe, that would be probably between 4 p.m. to like 2 a.m. Sometimes even later, because Utah PST would be, it's a 9-hour, I think 9-hour time difference. I think so, right? Between like Paris time, like Zurich time, and the US Pacific. So yeah, I would basically finish my days at like 4 a.m. local time, and she'd be like, "Oh no, come to sleep." I'm like, "No, I have to work." And so I would be on like Skype chat, and then my sales reps would close like $2,000 sales all the way up to $5,000 sales. Remember, for those of you who sell online now, those prices are low. It's almost like an entry ticket, entry level price, like a mid-tier price. At the time, $2,000 was very expensive, and so we'd make $10,000 to $30,000 a day in sales, sometimes more. And I would just be, they thought I was working. I was just responding in the chat, and then I would just play a few rounds of Black Ops. So that's the Black Ops story. So let's have a look at some of the last comments here. I put so many hours into MW2, so Modern Warfare and Black Ops 1. Yeah, so I enjoyed Black Ops 1. I tried to get back into this one that they did. What was it? It was a World War II game, I think, right? Call of Duty, I think. World War One. No, World War II. I tried. I don't know. It was fine. It's just like, I feel like they're all the same once you've played a few. So I prefer like these long, like these crazy ass games where you just go and play for like 500 hours, but not now. So yeah, COD I did play, Modern Warfare I did play, Black Ops 1, yes, of course. Counter-Strike, yes. So do you remember you guys remember the coffee shops, like the internet cafes? Did you guys play in those? So when I was traveling for pro tennis, I would travel all across Europe and Asia sometimes too, so depending on the tournaments. And we would go to the local internet cafe because no one had a laptop at the time, and there was no Wi-Fi. Like the Wi-Fi in 2002, 2003 was like non-existent. And so you would go, and all the OGs who has played in an internet cafe, type in cafe. There was no iPhone, there was no laptop. You had to go to an internet cafe, connect to, and literally like they had these kind of like, that's all they did, right? You had like 20 kids playing for hours, and you had to find a booth, right? Am I right or am I right? You had to find a booth and sign up, and we would all go. Like it was like 3-4 of my tennis friends who were playing in the same tennis tournaments, and we would go and like rent a booth, and yeah, just like it was basically desks, right? You would have the internet cafe, you would order like a drink or a Coke, and then you would play for like an hour or two, pay by the hour, play Counter-Strike, and you didn't even know. So everyone was playing locally. I think there was also like online for sure, but sometimes the tournaments were like the Counter-Strike games were local, so you didn't know who you were shooting inside the internet cafe. Yeah, like the pain that the young generation will never know. No Wi-Fi. You just had to go to literally an internet cafe to send emails and to play video games. So you guys know the pain. Counter-Strike. LAN on the internet cafe and trash talk, of course. Oh yeah, the good old days. Halo, of course, on Xbox. That was pretty much the only game that came out on Xbox. So I know all these video games because the reason why I started selling online was because I was a writer. I used to write reviews for a video game magazine in Switzerland. So I would get these games for free months before the release. These are CD-ROM games for PC and like physical games, right? And they had the watermark on it, like not for sale, and these were review games only. Sometimes on the actual review, on when you would play it on screen, there would be a huge watermark, like confidential, not for resale. And I was a video game tester. My dad hooked me up with someone who was who was hiring writers for a video game magazine and for the media, and that's how I would get these games for free, dozens of them a year, and I was paid around 50 Swiss francs, or about $50, as a teenager to review these games, and I could also sometimes keep the games, and a few times I actually got the console too. So that's how that's why I've played so many games. So yeah. OBA. I remember backpacking around Central America and having to buy internet time at a cafe to check emails and stuff. Yeah, that was pain. You guys remember? Pain. I'm going to pin this one to. This is something that the youth will never understand, the pain of having to to pay like $5 to check your email, which at the time was a lot of money. A lot of money. So let's have a look here. Let's have a look at some of the comments here. Okay, let's go down. Oh, I can see the banners didn't show up. Let me just refresh here. Should be fine. Do you guys see the JeetBot banner now? You should. There you go. We're back. So, comments. Do a podcast. So the way these streams are going to work. Actually, this is actually good for you guys to know. This week we have. Let me pull up the calendar here. This week we have another show tomorrow at the same time that we started this one at the same time, okay? And we'll always go for about 1 to 3 hours, sometimes more, sometimes less, usually not less than 1 hour, but usually this kind of length. Just kind of, sharing the news, looking at the headlines. Sometimes we'll have guests. This week we have 3 guests confirmed. On Wednesday, we'll have, the next show will be tomorrow at the same time. On Wednesday, we have Justin, my business partner at JeetBot, runs a trading group called Apollo. I don't know if you guys have Apollo, are in Apollo, and we have a live so it's going to be late Eastern time. It's going to be around midnight Eastern time between Tuesday and Wednesday. That's only for Apollo people. That's a closed one, so that's not public. Then we have an early one, depending on the time zone you're in. We have one it's going to be early morning Eastern time with, you'll see the guests. You'll see the guests. You need to tune in for these. Then we have one the same day, Wednesday, at the same time that we did this one. We'll publish a full schedule just so you guys can plan too. On Thursday, we have another one at this time that we did this one. And then Friday, I nothing confirmed yet. Probably, and Thursday we have a guest too. Friday, we have one probably at the same time as this one. So it's going to be almost every day at the same time. Sometimes we'll have, based on the guest, depending on the time zone that the guest's in, sometimes it'll be at another time zone. But yeah, anyway, there's a lot this week, and these will be pushed on YouTube too, and then they will also be pushed on the CoinRock Media website, CoinRock News, CoinRock. Actually, let me ask you this: do you prefer CoinRock News or CoinRock Media? Do you prefer CoinRock? So write news or media. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. CoinRock News or CoinRock Media? Give you a few moments here. Let's see. So just to give everyone context about this. To give everyone some context here, so the CoinRock, when I say the platform is basically the news websites where we'll be publishing articles, links to these shows. Think of it as a Cointelegraph and CoinDesk, right? That's exactly the same type of platform. So a news website platform, links out going to like all the other stuff that we have. These live streams, recording of these, transcriptions of these, opinions, articles, like literally breaking news articles, content on that website. Do we call it CoinRock News? Do we call it CoinRock Media? I don't think you guys can see the comments. I can see the comments. There's clearly a winner here. Do we do news? Do we do media? And why? I want to hear why. Let's have a look here. I'll give you guys a few moments because I know there's a delay here between the live and the so I see the comments in real time, and Sharam, my friend, is here. CoinRock Media, LFG. All right. So I can see there's a clear winner, but I need to know why. I'm very curious why. Yeah, I mean, there is a clear winner. Is it news? Is it media? Let's see. I'll give you guys 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Actually, I'll ping the group too here. I'm actually laughing because in one of the let's see. So, ooh, got some good answers here. Let me read them. I think so. Zach says, I think media sounds like it includes more, whereas news sounds like it might just be news only. Interesting. Media gives you more flexibility to venture out in other areas. Sharam is very right. I think news sounds boomerish, says Kobe. Interesting. So the answer is media is like overwhelmingly the winner here, which is funny because that's what I think too. But then I was like, sounds a bit okay. Let's see. Let's get both. So we have both domains. We have both everything. We already have the Twitter handles. We have CoinRock News, CoinRock Media, both of them. We have the domain names, everything. So it's just a matter of like picking. So by the way, quick piece of advice for if you run these polls, by the way, make sure you secure your domain names and your handles before you do these public polls, because it has happened in the past when I was much younger and much more innocent and naive, where I would run these polls and then I would get the answer, and then the next day I'd be like, oh, let me go and buy the domain name, and I'm like, why the fuck are these domain names all taken? The .com is taken, the .nets were pretty big about 10-15 years ago, .net is taken, the .biz is taken. I'm like, what the fuck? And I would look at the dates, the registration of each domain. It was literally the day before. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm never making that mistake again. So anyway, we have those domain names and the Twitter handles. So okay, media wins, hands down. Pretty dominant win from the media team here. So media it will be. So on the media side, coming back to that, we have these shows pretty much daily. That's my commitment to CoinRock too, as daily shows. Sometimes it'll be with guests, sometimes it'll be with guests and me only. Sometimes it'll be only me, like today. Updates on the market, updates on stuff. Just could be what Trump does, could be headlines. Also, when the platform is live, I'll be showing you the articles, so we'll go through the news. And I'm try to set the backgrounds, so the news is the background or above. We'll see like how the platform handles it. So we'll talk about the news, talk about updates, CoinRock updates. What else? Yeah, it's pretty like give you guys some alpha too on what's being worked on the inside. One thing I want to do too very quickly, probably this week, is actually do a session or at least a segment on referral marketing and giving you like specific steps so you can actually milk and make as much money as possible with the JeetBot referral program. What else? Yeah. So, and based on these streams, the live streams, the shows that we have with guests or alone, that will serve basically as one of the pieces of the content we do. Some of the content, like we did 2.5 hours now. Some of this will be transcribed. There's going to be some nuggets here and there that are taken from this and that are clipped. And you've seen this actually on Twitter. We've started this already. You've seen the clips. There's going to be clips that are clips from these shows. There's going to be segments that are taken and then transformed into an article. As you know, I mean, we talked about psychology and Trump and all that today, which wasn't really planned. So there's going to be, if you guys ask a question, we go deep in a rabbit hole, and that deserves and warrants an article the team will take care of that too, and then that will be posted on the media site. So this is basically the content. This is the long form content. Based on this, it'll be clipped, usually between 5 to 20 clips a day, pushed on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram Reels too. Then it goes into written production. So of course, we're not going to transcribe 2.5 hours here because not everything is alpha and doesn't deserve to have its own article, but we can definitely pull 3 to 5 articles from today's stream. That will go on the website, and then also with the guests we have. So for example, on Wednesday, Thursday, we have a guest and a stream. So in the show, we'll have a segment before the guest or after the guest, and then when the guest comes in. So we'll have his opinions. Sometimes it'll be more of an interview. Sometimes it'll be just like a conversation. Sometimes a debate. And that will form basically the foundation for the content, on top of all the breaking news that the team of writers is pushing out. Like literally, they've been writing articles for the last 10 days. So by the time we launch the CoinRock Media site, which I'm looking at, go to that tab. It's amazing. Looks great. Every time I refresh, there's a new update. The platform will have probably between 150 and 200 articles from the last 2 weeks. And we'll be pushing between 20 to 30 articles a day on the platform with breaking news. Typically, that troops mentioned, right? That Mexico is sending 10,000 troops. That's breaking news. That'll be, that warrants its own article. So yeah, that's pretty much the how we're building CoinRock Media. It's pretty cool for everyone here to be on and see this happening in front of your very eyes. And you'll see this grow in the next several weeks and months. We'll be doing a lot of push on social, Twitter, of course, TikTok too, Instagram too, and really pushing CoinRock out. I want to make CoinRock the vision is really to make CoinRock one of the top players in the crypto space. And so it's an ambitious plan, but seeing how much we've accomplished in just 12 months, I think there's a big opportunity to do something cool, and to basically the vision too is to bridge the crypto space, very crypto native. So we're definitely going to have, some, degen meme guys who share what they do, and we'll have them on the show too. But also, I think it's a good opportunity, seeing my background, that I'm for crypto, I'm more on the older side than the 16-year-olds trading memes all day. And I have a very large network on the Web 2 side, traditional finance, that I want to basically bring into crypto too, and have them on the show too. Guys who maybe are not super pro crypto initially, guys who run investment funds, private equity funds, hedge funds, or who are just private investors, and who have interesting opinions about crypto, or who are just getting into crypto. I think this is the cycle. This cycle is very different in the sense that it is the first cycle where non-crypto natives are coming into. So think pension funds, think governments, think investment funds are coming to crypto now more than ever, way more than the previous cycle. It started in the previous cycle, but this is like nothing like it's ever been. So it's going to be very interesting to get people who are crypto natives, but also non-crypto natives, and see how that goes. That's it. That's it for today, guys. So yeah, I think CoinRock Media it is. Let me have a look here. CoinRock Media it is. And let's see if we have some last. There you go. Sharam Shay. Oh yeah, someone just shared this. I posted this morning. Last we'll do another 5 minutes here. If you have any questions, comments, drop them in the chat, and then we'll call it a day for today, and we'll be back tomorrow. So I tweeted this. People greatly underestimate how much aggressive motion and momentum is required to stand out and dominate in a market. So, one of the comments that I have, even from people on the team, actually even Lucas said this. said, it's impressive how much we're doing, how much we're pushing. And my number one thought is really like, there is no other way to win. There's no other way to win. I think, having built, like I said, real businesses in IRL and outside of crypto, people underestimate how much work needs to go into the actual building of it. And when I say building, it means building the product, of course, but also the infrastructure, the SOPs, so the standard operating procedures, the hiring process, the management process, the operations, the day-to-day operations, calendars, how do you manage your teams, all that stuff, right? I know people underestimate this. I've advised, literally coached thousands of entrepreneurs over the last 15, 20 years, and they think that they can just put up a website. I'm exaggerating a bit, but they think that they could just put up a website, put a Stripe link, and they'll make money, or they'll get more clients. And it never happens that way, especially if you're going into a space where information is so flows so much, so rapidly, like crypto. And for us, is really an opportunity for us to do something huge in crypto. I really believe that. I think that there's a need for the market. There's a need for CoinRock in the market, like building the way we have, doing things the right way from day one, building a community, building in public. You've seen us build in public from zero, and we'll take that same thing and that same process and build CoinRock Media that way. Where does it go? I don't know. We'll see. Like, there's no guarantees in life. We'll see what happens. But I deeply believe, and I strongly believe, that people underestimate how much motion, how much momentum, how much energy, how much firepower you need to put in to a new project, a new venture, to get noticed. And I think, coupled, so that psychology, that kind of relentless and very aggressive way of building, is something that only two backgrounds, people I've hired from these two backgrounds, understand this. Number one, pro athletes. They understand that they need to do more than the average athlete. They work harder. The best ones work harder, train harder. They understand the value of having a good environment, good people around them, good food, good sleep. They understand that. And the best ones are relentless. And the other type of people are the ones that went to the military, so who have a military background. Those two, so pro athletes and ex-military, are almost two of the only backgrounds that I have seen execute at a very relentless and aggressive pace. And so I love working with them because they understand how much you need to do and how fast you need to move and how aggressive you need to be to win. It's as simple as that. And I will say, I'll preface this, I'm not going to be here and say, oh, the win is guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed in life, right? The same way that you can prep for a gold medal, you could prep all year, you could prep for 4 years and go to the Olympics and get injured the morning of that run, right? There's no guarantees in life. But what is guaranteed is that if you don't put in the work, you will never get to that day and never have the opportunity to go to the Olympics. So, the idea is just to put yourself in a position to potentially win. And so I know what it takes to build. I know, because I've taken my businesses from zero to multiple 8 figures in revenue in several businesses. I know what it takes to win. I also have seen a lot of people who want to win, and they just don't understand the amount of relentless work and output you need to have, input and output, with no guarantees. That's it. That's my point. Is like the prerequisite, the level at which you need to operate if you want to win, is here to have a chance of winning. So anything under this, you're not going to win. Simple as that. So the way we operate is, and what does that mean on a very concrete level? It means Sunday morning, you're on developer calls. Yesterday morning, Sunday, it's like 8 a.m. I'm on calls. I don't really want to be on the calls, right? I don't really want to be like tinkering with code, but I know that it's necessary. Otherwise, things are delayed. If we want to build CoinRock Media, I'm going to say CoinRock Media, not CoinRock News from now on. If we want to build CoinRock Media into a leader in the space, I know I'm going to have to put in hundreds of hours of this, hundreds of hours, have hundreds of guests. I'm not talking about 3 guests. I'm talking about hundreds of live streams to have a chance with no guarantee of winning. I do think, of course, as a professional athlete, you're hardwired to know that you want to win, and deeply you think you will win, but you don't know if it's going to take you 6 months or 6 years. No one knows. With the very humble understanding that you might never win. But the only chance of maybe winning is you need to do this balls to the wall, relentless, aggressive, nonstop, 7 days a week to put yourself in a position of maybe winning. That's the mindset we operate at. And it's very different and that's why I think that building crypto is so interesting for me, because in Web 2, and everyone who's operated in real businesses, in competitive businesses like manufacturing, e-commerce today is very competitive. It used to not be. All these businesses where you have real competition with real funding and real execution, and actually adults who know how to run, and executives who know how to run things, people like me who have 20 years of like bootstrapped, money in, money out, do or die in business, there's very few of those in Web3. They will come. But right now, there's an opportunity for CoinRock in the next 2 to 3 years to really grow a massive brand. And so we can do that if I devote and I allocate this time, and if we build the systems in-house to build great products, and to just, pivot quickly when there's issues, and you've seen us do this live. So I'm really talking from experience here, like being confronted with market changes, fluctuations, good people on the team, bad people on the team, having to pivot quickly, narratives that change, competitors who come out and copy shit. Wait till we launch JeetBot. People literally the competition is eyeballing JeetBot. It would be funny actually if you guys are on here. You guys are going to be copying what we do in JeetBot now that we're releasing in the next day or two. We're already thinking of the next features releasing, a few weeks from now, and you'll be copying that too. So you're always trailing. So, but my point is, this is what it takes to potentially win with no guarantees of winning. So we execute at a level, Caius and I, that is very rare in crypto, and having spent time with founders and met hundreds of, I'd say professionals in crypto, right? On the building side, the VC side, developers, KOLs, managers, market makers, regulators in the last 12 months. There's very few people who actually understand the relentlessness, the level of relentlessness and aggressiveness at which you need to operate, and just, you need to move fast. You need to move faster, and you need to move fast and well. So that's why we're moving so much. And that's why this concept and this idea of this vision of CoinRock Media was like, okay, if we build this, I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to do 1 to 3 hours a day of live streams, sometimes with guests, sometimes alone. I know what I can do on live streams. You guys have been here for 3 hours, almost 2.5 hours now. The market moves so fast. I know the market well. I can talk from experience because we also have a very unique perspective. This is not just a media thing. This is like, we're actually building and investing our own money in this. So we're actually builders who can talk about shit because we're building. So no one is more qualified than people who actually build things and actually are able to talk about the things that they actually do. So I think we have a very unique perspective at CoinRock, being, venture builders and talkers of the building that we do. I don't know of many venture funds that do this. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know of many who have a plan to execute the way we execute. And if they do, great. And if they don't, I think there's a good opportunity for us to win. I say that with humility. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know what we control, which is the work that we put in. So I hope you guys like what we do. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing, commenting. Let me have a look at some of the comments here in the groups. So there's going to be a lot of clips. This is going to be clips. We're going to push this on Reels. The platform is going to drop, I would say probably, I'd want to drop it probably later later this week. There's a few small things to adjust, but it looks great. Like, it looks very nice. Honestly, it looks nicer than many existing news and media websites. So I'm very happy with that. Team did a great job, and there's going to be adjustments, but the V1 of this is already great. Yeah, I'm looking at it. I really like it. Yeah. Yep. I like this. I'm scrolling and it looks good. Like like my first impression is like, yeah, this is good. This is very good. I'm happy. So you guys will see this. You'll see this in the coming days. I hope by the end of this week. Tomorrow, so in the next 24, quick recap, in the next 24 to 48 hours, we will be dropping JeetBot, opening that to referrals. And so if you're not in the group yet, make sure you join the JeetBot group. You can see that in the comments here. And we will be back. We will be back tomorrow. Let me have a look at the time. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow I'll give you the time, guys. Put notifications on so you get the noti when we join. It will be at the same time as today. Okay. Same time. Exactly the same time. So it'll be in about 22 hours from now. Just under 22 hours from now. And so JeetBot is dropping in the next 24, 48 hours. And after that, a live stream every day. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing. If you enjoyed this and you like how we vibe, I think you'll enjoy the rest. We're gonna try to get good guests on. I want interesting people, not just big names. I could honestly care less if they're big names or if they're assholes. I don't want them on the show. We don't need them on the show. I think it's gonna be really interesting if you actually have suggestions or you know people who'd be great guests or you want to connect us with, please do. We have a solid list of people that we're literally like booking, like scheduling the shows with. So thank you for joining, and we will see you on either in the groups or on social. Activate your noties so you join immediately tomorrow, and we'll see you next time. Talk soon, guys. Hey, thanks for watching. If you got value from this episode, you're going to love what's coming next. So subscribe now. We drop new episodes and videos several times a week featuring power players, market movers, and insiders from the financial world. And if you want access to deals and insights we only share privately, hit the links in the description and we'll see you on the next show.